KD8SLG NAJET. Well, good evening, Nick. Sounding good this evening.
Well, how you doing, man? Wanted to thank you for the email. And, yeah, that aircast looks suspiciously familiar.
Well, I'm sorry that we have to have those things in our lives, but it'll pass. I know it'll be aggravating as heck and not altogether pleasant the whole time, but it will pass.
I got to tell you, I was expecting a hard cast for about a month, so being able to take this thing on and off and do PT and wash and everything else is actually quite nice in comparison to that, so I'll take it.
Yeah, it could be a whole lot worse. So, yeah, be very thankful for the small blessings there, because like I say, it could be a whole lot worse, and I won't bother you with any horror stories that I know about, but I have some good friends who have had very, very serious breakages and were laid up for a very, very long time.
Okay, I turned the volume down on that because I do not need Audrey hearing that she's going to be doing this for me for 6 or 8 months. I heard the snicker from the other room. KD8SLG.
Very good. Well, I think we all survived that cold snap there. It was nip and tuck for a while, but things are looking pretty good now. It was a very pleasant day today, relatively speaking. The wind was a bit high, but boy, the temperature sure felt good. I actually went out and did some antenna work on the mobile, not the QTH here.
Oh yeah, did you get everything tuned the way you want it?
As a matter of fact, I did. I'm trying something special for when my friend and I go out and do a POTA activation. It's been taking us quite a while to put up the antenna on a 20-foot mast and so forth. So what I've got is a 20-meter ham stick on a mag mount that has a really good SWR on it. So we're going to give that a try and see how it gets out our next activation, because it'll be very, very, very quick to set up. We won't lose the 40 minutes or so, whatever it takes, depending upon the weather. We notice it takes a lot longer with the cold wind chill blowing through you than it does when it's not cold.
W8WKY.
Well, I know a few guys who've used the ham sticks for POTA, and it's definitely quick deployment if you have everything set up and ready to go. So, sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan. All right, man, I guess we're about 9 minutes out from Newsline starting, and then I think Dustin has the con tonight for the club net, so hopefully he'll be sticking around for those. I think I'm going to hop off here, get something to drink, and be back and ready to be iced in place for all that. NAJET, this is KD8SLG. I'll be clear on yours.
Oh, very well. Yes, I plan on hanging around, and we'll see how things go. I have a very, very poor track record on trivia. Most of the times I don't know, and I just guess Steve or Bill, and I was right once out of how many times? 7-3, KD8SLG, NAJET, clear listening.
amateur radio newsline will start in 5 minutes.
Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2465 with a release date of Friday, January 24th, 2025 to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. An alert. Amateur helps locate 2 missing children in India. A wireless device helps track down the body of a Colorado skier. And in the UK, Ofcom revisits operating privileges for visiting amateurs. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2465 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, amateur radio's first independent, on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now, reporting from Wadsworth, Ohio, Stephen Kinford, N8WB.
Situational awareness is always key for hams doing emergency communications, and it was never more important than at a recent religious pilgrimage in India, where one observant radio amateur intervened to help find 2 missing children. Jim Meechan, ZL2 BHF, brings us that story.
Hams around the world who were making DX contacts with AU2 WBRC, the West Bengal Radio Club, were no doubt happy to log a QSO from the second largest religious gathering of Hindus in India, the Gangasaga Mela in West Bengal. They may not have realized that one member of the team made another important contact off the air with the cooperation of a drone operator in the area. A 9-year-old girl and her 3-year-old sister had boarded a departing bus, expecting their mother and grandmother to follow. But the adults failed to join them because the massive crowd at the bus stand had gotten their way. The bus pulled away with the unaccompanied children. Saborni Na Biswas, VU2JFC, was at the festival to assist with the radio club's de-expedition and public safety work. She told Newsline she was near the bus stand assisting others who had lost their way in the crowd when the frantic mother approached her after the bus pulled away. The mother could not recall the bus identifying number. Knowing that there were drones flying over the island for security purposes, Saborni telephoned the drone operators to see if any footage captured from the air could identify the departed vehicle. After the bus was identified, located, and stopped, she accompanied Kolkata police to the bus and the girls were returned to their mother and grandmother. A local newspaper credited Saborni's actions, calling them, quote, key in completing the search operation in such a short time, end quote. This is Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
The body of an accomplished skier in Colorado was found with the help of a personal device known as an avalanche transceiver, 4 hours after he became buried in the snow. We have that story from Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
A wearable wireless safety device known as an avalanche transceiver helped the woman find the body of her husband, a veteran downhill skier who died after being buried in a Colorado mountain avalanche. 57-year-old Donald Moden, Jr., who had once been a member of the local mountain rescue team, was likely buried in the avalanche for more than 4 hours before his body was located via transmissions from his tracking device, according to news reports. The avalanche occurred on January 7th on Red Mountain Pass, where he had skied for many years. News reports said the skier's wife became concerned when he failed to check in as agreed. Standing at the trailhead with her own avalanche transceiver, she received transmissions being sent from her husband's device and was able to locate where he was buried. The transceiver, sometimes known as an avalanche beacon, transmits on 457 kilohertz. Newer ones have a 3-antenna design for greater accuracy. According to several backcountry ski websites, the most modern devices have a transmitting range of 50 meters or more. A search team was called to assist with recovering the skier's body. News reports said that Donald Moden was the state's first reported fatality from an avalanche this season. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
A popular online ham radio magazine is returning for readers in Ireland and around the world as we learn from Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
Ham Radio Ireland is back. After a period of inactivity late last year, the free independent downloadable newsletter resumed online publication in late January. Shortly after its creators launched its predecessor, the Connaught Regional Newsletter, in 2022, realizing it held appeal beyond its initial readership in Western Ireland, it was renamed Ham Radio Ireland. Authors volunteered to share their expertise on QRP, satellite operation, VHF, UHF, home construction, keyboard modes, and other topics. According to Steve Wright, EI5DD, editorial contributions eventually slowed to a trickle, making continued publication a challenge. By last September, production had stopped. John Tubrit, EI3HQB, from Collective Communications, and Steve Wright, EI5DD, are now on the editorial team to revive the magazine in a new format. Initially, the best site for downloads will be via the Facebook page of Ham Radio Ireland. Links will soon be available on other social media platforms. Authors anywhere in the world are welcome to send stories and pictures relevant to ham radio and their experiences. They can be sent directly to Steve at Wright14, that's WRIGHT figures 14, at gmail.com. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
The Lake Placid Olympic Museum in northern New York State is receiving a donation that is more than just images and memories. This gift contains history, as we hear from Kevin Trotman, N5PRE.
It has been 45 years since the Winter Olympics were held in New York State's Adirondack Mountains. That year, the athletes weren't the only ones making an Olympic effort. 21 amateur radio operators followed the 1,000-mile route of the traditional Olympic flame as it was carried north along the east coast of the U.S. starting on the 31st of January, 1980. Along the way, hands in each local community helped with the safety and logistics as the torch relay team passed through. To mark the Olympics anniversary, one member of that team, Bob Josaway, WA3PZO, has donated some 100 magazine and newspaper articles documenting the 10-day run itself and the amateur radio's involvement. There are also 350 35mm slides that are being digitized so the museum can add these images to their collection too. The hams themselves have more than those long-ago memories. Their volunteer work earned each a medal that keeps the memory burning as bright as that Olympic flame. This is Kevin Trotman, N5PRE.
Hams in the Yukon knew him as Radio Ray. They said goodbye to him recently when he became a silent key. Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, tells us more about him.
Raymond Fred Fugard, VY1RF, kept his radios on in his house around the clock. Asked, and he would identify the frequencies and coverage areas of every repeater in the vicinity of his home in the Yukon Territory. Ray had been a ham since December of 2006, and by the time he got his license, his ever-diminishing eyesight had left him legally blind. Ray became a silent key on January 6th. Ray moved to the Yukon more than 40 years ago from Ontario and became an integral part of community life through his amateur radio activities with the Yukon Amateur Radio Association. He was considered the club's network monitor, keeping track of the wide area network of repeaters across the Yukon Territory, where many U.S. travelers from the lower 48 states would make the trip north along the Alaska Highway. Club President Ian McDonald, VY1IRM, told Newsline, quote, "If anyone made a call out on the network, Ray would respond with a hello and any information that they may need," end quote. Ray also assisted in communications during emergency preparedness exercises and at such public service events as the Klondike Road Relay, the Chilcot International Bike Race, and the benefit walks for MS. He was known for carrying an HT with him wherever he went. After the club changed its bylaws, Ray also became the Racey's comms controller. Club Vice President Michael Settle, VY1MGS, told Newsline that he was inspired to become a ham by Ray's own activities in amateur radio. Ray was also active in broadcasting, and Michael said he received the nickname Radio Ray because of his association with the community radio station in Dawson City. A music lover, he helped start the station, where he was both a DJ and station manager. According to his online obituary, he was in declining health and was dealing with respiratory difficulties at the time of his death. Ray was 70. This is Neil Rapp, WB9VPG.
Time for you to identify your station. We are the amateur radio Newsline heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the North Coast Amateur Radio Club, N8NC repeater in Northeast Ohio, on Sundays at 8 p.m. local time during the weekly Information Net. extending its license exemption to give operating privileges to even more foreign hams during their short-term visits. Jeremy Boot, G4NGH, explains this latest development.
Ofcom has issued a consultation proposing to implement application-free short-term reciprocal licensing for amateurs visiting from non-CEPT countries and with whom the UK has a bilateral agreement. The regulator said on the 17th of January that this would expand a privilege that is already afforded to hams with a full license from CEPT signatory countries. It would apply to foreign hams whose stays do not exceed 3 months. The privilege is currently available only to hams who hold a full license from non-CEPT signatory countries, including Thailand, Brazil, Sri Lanka, and Qatar, amongst others. After the 3-month limit has been reached, foreign amateurs may apply for an additional 6 months under the existing reciprocal full temporary license process, or apply for a full UK license from Ofcom. The regulator said that this change would reduce its administrative burdens and costs. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
3 amateurs will be honored in Florida at Hamcation this year as we hear from Jack Parker, W8ISH.
Hamcation organizers have named 3 award recipients whose accomplishments will be recognized and celebrated in Orlando, Florida next month. David Jordan, AA4KN, has been selected to receive the Carol Perry Educator of the Year Award. Heather Anderson, W8GEM, and David Anderson, K1AN, will share the Gordon West Ambassador of the Year Award. In his various responsibilities with ERIS, Amateur Radio on the International Space Station, David has been responsible for coordinating QSOs with ISS astronauts for students around the world. His is a function that includes helping select and schedule the schools, as well as helping train and assist with technical operations. He is an AMSAT member who mentors students, giving them an opportunity to learn more about radio contacts via satellite through so-called teach-ins at the elementary and middle school level. Heather and David are members of the Yavapai Amateur Radio Club, W7YRC in Arizona, where youngsters in the Youth Radio Club know them for their leadership in training and projects. The 2 maintain a strong presence at library summer programs, youth field days, and have an involvement in the space, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, also known as STEAM. The awards will be presented during Hamcation, which takes place from the 7th to the 9th of February. This is Jack Parker, W8ISH.
With terrestrial and solar weather on almost everyone's mind these days, HAMSci, the citizen science research group in the U.S., has announced it is hosting Zoom sessions to assist with its personal space weather station network. HAMSci hosts the sessions at 10 a.m. Eastern Time every Thursday on Zoom. The group is hoping to expand its network and improve data collection for additional studies. Visit hamsci.org for more details. In the world of DX, Ilion LZ5KW is using the call sign 8Q7KW until sometime in early February from the Maldives, IOTA number AX-013. He is using mainly CW, but is including some SSB and FT8. Find him on 80 to 10 meters. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Tom 9A2AA is marking 68 years as an active radio amateur by using the call sign 9A68AA. QSL via his home call. Listen for Plemo SP3PS calling CQ as C5SP from the Gambia until the middle of March. He will be using SSB and FT8 on the HF bands. QSL via his home call. Claudio HB90AU will be active holiday style as D440A from Saul Island, AF-086. Cape Verde from the 5th through the 18th of February. He will operate CW SSB on 40 through 6 meters. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Guest speakers at ham radio club meetings are supposed to inspire, and indeed many of them do. Earlier this month, the guest speaker at one club in California actually inspired a lullaby. Stay awake, please. as Ralph Squillace, KK6ITB, explains what happened.
Helen Mahoney, KI6LQV, loves amateur radio to the moon and back. Really, to the surface of the moon and back. She and her husband, Doug, K6JEY, enjoy making contacts via moon bounce, also known as Earth-Moon-Earth contacts, or EME. Hearing Helen's recent guest presentation at the W6TRW Amateur Radio Club meeting in Redondo Beach, California, Becky, KN6WDQ, was left with a song in her heart. So, she wrote it, sang it, recorded it, and put it all on YouTube with Devin, KN6PHC, and Mark, KD7DTS, singing backup vocals. This ham radio lullaby is called I Ping the Moon, and it is set to the music of another more familiar lullaby, I See the Moon and the Moon Sees Me. It also turns out to be a love song of sorts to a mode that can surprise any ham with a world of contacts if they use the right equipment. For this musical performance, Becky's instruments are her piano and, of course, her HT. It's a parody, of course, but that doesn't mean this EME fan doesn't take her on-air efforts seriously. No doubt she's dreaming already of her next QSOs, and now she has the right lullaby to sing herself to sleep. To hear the song, see the link in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. This is Ralph Squillace, KK6ITB.
Have you sent in your amateur radio haiku to Newsline Haiku Challenge yet? It's as easy as writing a QSL card. Set your thoughts down using traditional haiku format, a 3-line verse with 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second, and 5 in the third. Submit your work on our website at arnewsline.org. Each week's winner gets a shout-out on our website, where everyone can find the winning haiku. With thanks to the Amateur Radio Daily, Bob Josowait, WA3PZO, Colorado Sun, David BR, K7DB, Facebook, 425DX News, GoFundMe, Heritage North Funeral Home, John Turbrit, EI3HQB, Millennial Post, Offcom, QRZ.com, Saborni Nag Biswa, VU2JFC, shortwaveradio.de, Steve Wright, EI5DD, Wireless Institute of Australia, YouTube, Yukon Amateur Radio Association, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York and our news team worldwide, I'm Stephen Kinford, N8WB in Wadsworth, Ohio, saying 73. As always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2025. All rights reserved.
W8WKY.
This is KD8EPC listening on the 3-9.
KD8EPC, W8ELM. Good evening, Dustin.
Well, good evening to you, Eric. How you doing? And I understand you're going to have a good trivia question for us tonight.
I have a trivia question for you tonight. I guess it remains to be seen how good it is. Anyway, your signal sounds good. How's mine?
For absolutely full quieting, no problems at all. And I do have a NetLogger screen open if you want to stop by and say hello there, too.
All right, very good. Well, this is W8ELM standing by for the Saranet.
W8ELM, W8TD.
W8TD, W8ELM. Be on Echolink or some other digital node.
Looks like it's W8TD still keyed up there.
Did you hear me, John? W8TD, W8ELM.
Yeah, something died there, but you're back. W8ELM, W8TD.
Okay, I think somebody else had Echolink or something else up. I assume you're at C?
Wonder if I can get an early check-in.
Go ahead, Dustin.
At W8TD, KD8EPC, I can throw you on the log there. Are you sticking around or are you just in and out?
I'm in and out. It's going to be extremely noisy here in about 10 minutes.
Very good. Well, I got you on the list there, so we got you in and out there. Safe travels at sea, and I hope you're somewhere as warm, so soak up some of that nice warm weather for us.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I think it's still 80-something. Currently headed toward Puerto Quetzal and Guatemala. So it'll be a while before we head north again.
Oh, man, well, I'll tell you what, you enjoy it there, and like I said, soak up some of that sun, and feel free to try to send some of that warm weather our way. But I'm going to hop off of here, grab a beverage, and we'll be back at the top of the hour for the net. With that, this is KD8EPC, and I'm going to be clear on your finals.
KD8EPC. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. W8TD clear.
The weekly Saranet, featuring club news, trivia, and check-ins from some of the nicest hams in the universe starts in 5 minutes.
And the best looking. NTAD.
Get ready for the weekly Serenet starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
CQ, this is W8WKY calling CQ for the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association Tuesday Night Net. My name is Dustin, my call sign is KD8EPC, and I'll be your net control for the evening. Using the club called W8WKY. We meet on this repeater every Tuesday at 8 p.m. and encourage all amateurs to check in. This is a directed net. All traffic must pass through net control, and emergency or priority traffic may break in at any time. Before we start this evening, is there any announcements? Please call now. All right, nothing heard for announcements there. I guess we're going to start out with some in and out check-ins. We'll start with a couple of rounds of in and outs, then we'll take some regular check-ins after that. So let's start right here at the top with in and out check-ins. In and out check-ins for the Sarah Club Net. Please say your call phonetically, followed by alphabetically, along with your name and location. In and out check-ins, please.
Kilo Bravo 8, Victor Hotel Mike, KB8, VHM, Tommy Green.
November 8, Whiskey Sugarville is London.
Kilo Delta 8, November Echo Oscar, KD8, NEO, Darrell in Holmes County.
Kilo Echo 8, Juliet November Hotel, Duggan Ripon.
All right, what a nice early list. Let me tell you who I've picked up so far. I have KBVHM, Tom. I have N8WS, Bill. I have KD8NEO, Darrell, and I have K8JNH, Doug. Do we have any other in and out check-ins for the Sarah Club Net? Please call now.
Kilo Alpha 8, Mike November Tango, Tom in Canton. I'll be in and out this evening.
Echo 8, India Mike Echo, David, Sterling, Ohio, in and out.
Kilo Echo 8, Tango Lima Bravo, KE8 TLB, Randy and Rittman, in and out, 73. Thanks for running that, Dustin.
All right, what a nice early list of check-ins. Let me make sure I've got it. That time around, I picked up K8MNT Tom, K8IME David, and K8TLB Randy. We're going to make one more call here for in and out check-ins. Please call. All right, not hearing any more in and out check-ins. Stations waiting to check in that want to stick around, please call now.
W8WKY, this is Kilo Delta 8, Sierra Lima Golf, KD8 SLG, Nick down the farm.
November Tango, 8 Delta, NT8D, Dave in Copley.
Alpha 8, Charlie, Sierra, Gary in Fairlawn. Good evening, Dustin.
Please copy.
Kilo Echo 8, Victor Oscar X-Ray, KE8, VOX, Scott, Ravine Township.
Kilo Echo 8, Zulu Romeo, KE8 CZR, Harry over in Wadsworth.
All right, we picked up KD8 BYT Russ. We have KD8 SLG, Just Nick. I have NT8D Dave. I have AACS Gary, our fearless leader. I have K8 VOX Scott. I have K8 UIB John, and I have K8 ZZR Harry. Any other check-ins for the Sarah Club Net? Please call now.
Kilo Echo 8, Zulu Hotel Golf, KE8ZHG, Doug in Norton.
Kilo 4 Oscar Golf, K4OG Mark in Copley.
Kilo Charlie 8 Hotel Delta Papa, KC8 HDP Jerry in Shreve.
This is WO3X, Whiskey Oscar 3 X-Ray, John in Cuyahoga Falls.
All right, we picked up K8ZHG Doug. We have K4OG Mark. We have KC8HDP Jerry, and we have WO3X John. We're going to make one more call here. This is W8WKY looking for regular check-ins for the net. Please call now.
Alpha Bravo 8 Mike Oscar AV8MO.
All right, and to round off the AB8MO, Andy, I got you in there. What a nice orderly list of check-ins here. We're going to go up here and get our trivia read and start this thing out. Let's see what W8ELM has for us. Eric, what do you have for us this evening?
Well, good evening, Dustin, and everybody on the net. Upon completion of the Washington Monument in 1884, an 8.9-inch tall pyramid of solid aluminum was placed on the capstone, where it remains to this day. Upon completion of the Washington Monument in 1884, an 8.9-inch tall pyramid of solid aluminum was placed on the capstone, where it remains to this day. Your question for tonight. Aluminum metal was chosen A, to dissipate static charges. A, alpha, to dissipate static charges. B, to prevent chemical deterioration of the capstone. B, bravo, to prevent chemical deterioration of the capstone. C, Charlie, aluminum metal was chosen for its corrosion resistance. C, Charlie, for its corrosion resistance. D, for its intrinsic monetary value. D, delta, for its intrinsic monetary value. Or E, echo, for none of the above reasons. One more time. Aluminum metal was chosen for this pyramid on top of the Washington Monument. A, to dissipate static charges. B, to prevent chemical deterioration of the capstone. C, for its corrosion resistance. D, for its intrinsic monetary value. And E, for none of the above reasons. Back to net. Thanks for running it, Dustin.
W8WKY.
All right, W8ELM. Well, Eric, thanks so much for another wonderful trivia question there. We're going to think about that for a while And in the meantime, while we do that, we're going to turn it right over here to the top to my good friend Russ, KD8VYT. Good evening, Russ. How you doing? Make sure it's working. Eric, can you hear me, W80LM?
Full quieting, loud and clear.
Perfect. Looked up a second ago. Didn't look like my radio is doing what it was supposed to, so thank you for that. Let's try again here. KD8VYT. Russ, are you there?
Yes, that stupid tone thing again. Can you hear me now?
Full quieting. Go ahead.
My answer is A to the trivia question. And what I was saying is I put together a clock, digital clock that I ordered off of Amazon. And I got an extra capacitor. And I'm missing another part. So that was fun. Anyway, that's all I got. One of these days I gotta learn how to program this tone in this frequency. KD8VYT.
All right there, Russ. Well, hopefully you get that all figured out there. And I've never bought a clock that I've had to put together before, so definitely interesting. We got you down for answer A. We'll say 73 to you, and we'll catch you on down the log. And that's going to bring me over to Just Nick, KD8SLG. What do you know?
WKY, this is KD8SLG. Good evening, Dustin, and all the club netizens. And I know nothing, Dustin. I know nothing. I definitely don't know the answer to this. I'm going to go with Delta. I think aluminum may have been more valuable back then than it is now. Just a thought. Delta it is. Got the ice machine running. I've done 2 out of the 3 sets of my exercises for today, so I've got 1 more of those coming up tonight. Yay! That's about all I got going on, man. Thanks for being here. Eric, thanks for fine trivia as always. Good to hear everybody. It's KD8SLG, back to net control.
All right there, Nick. Well, we're wishing for a speedy recovery for you, and it's great to hear you out there tonight, my friend. Best of luck with your exercises there, and I will look forward to talking to you again there real soon. That's going to bring me down to NT8D. Dave, take it away.
Good evening there, Dustin, everybody on the net, anybody who might be listening. Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea. I hope everybody's having a good night, staying warm. It's over freezing. This is good. I liked your reasoning there, Nick, for the answer. I'm going to go with E, elephant, just because. But I did like Nick picked the answer, which I may have picked, but let's make sure they're all covered. Beautiful day today. Spent the day in Revere High School. Oh, they got some really pianos that need. I told them they need to get a fundraiser to buy a new piano, but whatever. Made a pizza today with sausage and bacon and green peppers and onions and garlic and mushrooms and cheese, and it turned out really good. I found some frozen dough that I had in the freezer, so it worked out pretty well. Kid is out in Bowling Green working in a hotel, so I'm really worried about her because I'm worried about who's like checking into that place. But things are the way they are. Anything else going on? I'm looking forward to February, post Groundhog Day. And when we get to Groundhog Day, we can talk about that one. But that's one of my least favorite holidays of the entire year because as a little kid, I knew that the groundhog was a liar because it didn't matter if he saw his shadow or not. The weather, because this was Ohio. Hey, D.
All right there, Dave. Well, it sounds like you had fun today there at least, and good to hear you out there. And hopefully they get some new pianos. It sounds like they're really bad there, but sounds like you had a good day. And you know what? You had me at that pizza until you hit the mushrooms. I'm not a fan of mushrooms, but sounds like it was pretty good. We'll say 73 to you. Have a great evening, and we'll catch you there at Down the Log. Let's go over to AA8CS now. Gary, our fearless leader. How are you, Gary?
Good evening, Sarah and friends. Yeah, Dustin, I am pretty doggone good for a Tuesday evening. Let's see. Couple things going on. First, I want to remind everybody, if you haven't signed up for one of the committee mailing lists, please do so, at least one. All the items that all the committees that you may be interested in or want to know what's going on with that committee anyway, you should please sign up. That's the whole idea. I'd like everybody to have at least one committee that they're interested in enough to sign up for. So that being said, I'll shoot another email out here shortly, and we'll continue to move in that direction. Let's see. Secondly, Marty ran across Marty N8XPK ran across a set of JBL 4301B studio monitors that needed some attention. He let me give it some attention and just tried them out for the first time today, and boy, I'm telling you, they sound fabulous. So that being said, real happy about that. Let's see. Oh, trivia. I'm going to go with my VP. It's all about the money. I'm going to go with Delta, please. And let's see. I guess that's about it, Dustin. Good to be here with you tonight. Thanks for picking it up. And I want to thank Eric for another fabulous question. That's a really interesting question. An 8-inch or a 9-inch tall aluminum pyramid on top of the Washington Monument. Interesting. With that, let me turn it back to Ned. This is Alpha 8 Charlie Sierra. Dustin, doing a bang-up job. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right there, Gary. Well, wonderful to hear you, and thanks for all those wonderful announcements there. And I'm going to have to figure out what's going on with those emails. I haven't been getting any club emails except for the net control ones in months, so there you go. But great to hear you. We'll say 73 for now, and we'll catch you on down the log. And that's going to bring me over to Scott, K8VOX. What's going on in Vermilion there, Scott?
Well, good evening, Dustin. Good evening, all the listeners. KE8VOX Scott over here on the shores of Lake Erie. Yeah, right now, Dustin, it's pretty doggone windy. 22-mile-an-hour winds out of the west and whatnot. So it's rocking and rolling a little bit. I imagine it's going to push the ice over to the other side there. I don't know. I was talking today to a buddy of mine, and they were saying the lake's 80% covered, and I don't know. I think their 80% might be on the high side, because we still got open water over here every day. The wind switches, so. Oh well. But it was a beautiful day before the wind picked up. But I'm gonna go with Delta for the trivia answer And that's all. That's all I got. Have a great day. It's KE8VOX, sending it back to net control. 73.
All right there, Scott. Well, don't get blown away by all that wind there. And I saw something yesterday or the other day that was showing a model of the Lake Erie ice cover, and I want to say you're about right. 80-85% is what they were calling for. So we'll say 73 to you. Have a great evening, Scott, and we'll catch you on down the log. That's going to bring me over to John, KE8UIB. Good evening.
KE8EPC from KE8UIB. Good evening, Dustin, everybody out there on the net, and all the trivia question. We'll get that out of the way here. I'm messaging back and forth with my mom. Unfortunately, my dad's not up tonight. They're both still really sick. My mom was able to muster up enough energy to turn on the radio and message back and forth with me. So she's going to take E Echo, and the wife and I are clueless, so I think we're just going to go with C Charlie and see what that ends up with. But with that, I hope everybody's having a good Tuesday evening and stuff, and just relaxing, chilling, living a 5-hour dream a nickel at a time. So with that, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and hand this back over to Net Control. This is KE8UIB 73. Y'all, thanks for running that, Dustin.
All right there, John. Well, great to hear you out there, and sorry to hear the parents have been sick. I know how that goes. I'm just getting over whatever funk's been going around, so I feel for them, and I hope they get better soon there, but we got you down. Great to hear you. We'll throw a nickel in the jar, and we'll say 73 and catch you down the log. This is W8WKY, and next on the list here is K8ZZR. Harry, how you doing?
W8WKY. Good evening, Dustin. This is K8ZZR. Good evening, everybody. Trivia question. Eric, that's another great question you got going there. I think I'm going to have to go with E, though. E is an Edward, so we'll leave it at that. Not too much happening here. Had lunch with the Aries group, the Wayne County Aries group this afternoon. Had a nice time. We missed Jerry down there, KC8HDP. I understand he might be under the weather a little bit, but he's on the radio, so maybe he's on the road to recovery. So that's about it. That was a highlight of my day, and with that, I'll turn it back to you, Dustin. This is K8ZZR Claire.
All right there, Harry. Well, we appreciate you joining us, and it sounds like you had quite the day there, so glad you got to enjoy it. We'll say 73, and we'll catch you there on down the log. That's going to bring me down to K8ZHG. Doug, how you doing?
W8WKY. This is K8ZHD, Doug Norton. Hi, Dustin. Thanks for hosting the net. Good evening to everyone on the net tonight. Bit of wood carving. We had our gas furnace go out. Luckily, it went out before the cold saw, but we had that replaced, and our water heater started leaking 2 days later. So those are all fixed, and we had the inspector come by today. But that's all that's new here. For the trivia question, I'm going to go for E. And that's all I have. This is KE8ZHT, back to net control.
All right there, Doug. Well, sorry to hear about your furnace and then your water heater. It's always something, isn't it? But at least it's all fixed now, and sounds like things are going good there. So great to hear you. We'll say 73, and have yourself a great evening. Well, let's jump on over to Copley now and talk to K4OG, the original gangster. Take it away, Mark.
KD8EPC, K4OG. Good evening, Dustin and everyone. Wow, another fine trivia question, LM. Let's see. I think looks like B and C may cancel each other out, prevent chemical deterioration. I would think that would be why you put it up there, but then C says for corrosion resistance. Decision. Dissipate static, that's a good one. The lightning, it's still there, so I don't guess the lightning melted it. I don't know that it's that valuable, so I'm going to go with some of the other guys and say Echo. What? Echo. K4OG, back to net.
All right there, Mark. Well, great to hear you out there. And you said your answer a little too loud. The digital assistant in the other room started yelling at me. So there you go. Great to hear you, Mark. We'll say 73 to you, and have yourself a great rest of the evening. Let's jump on over to Shreve and talk to Jerry now. KC8 HDP. Take it away.
Well, this is KC8 HDP. Good evening, Dustin, and good evening to you, Eric. Thanks for doing the net this evening, Dustin, and yes, another great question, Eric. Sorry I had to miss the Aries lunch today, but I didn't want to spread any of this upper respiratory virus to anybody else. I hope I didn't give it to anybody at Winter Field Day. Was there both days, and by the end of the day, before we quit on Sunday, my throat was feeling a little scratchy, and tongue felt a little dry, and as the evening went on later, my eyes got itchy, and boy, it just went downhill from there. So this is day 2 of the full virus, and hopefully I'll be over it soon. No one has mentioned the VE session this Saturday, the Sarah VE session. Well, it's a joint Sarah and Wayne County group VE session at Smithville Brethren Church. It's right on Route 585 there in Smithville. You can't miss it. If you're looking to get your first license or upgraded, be there around 9:30 to 10 o'clock, and we'll get you all set up with a test. Let's see, what else? Oh, trivia before I forget. I'm going to go with Bravo. I have no clue about this. I didn't even know there was an aluminum pyramid up there, so Bravo is as good as any, and spread the answers around. Well, that's all I've got for tonight, so I'm going to send things back to you, Dustin. W8WKY and the net from KC8 HDP 73.
All right there, Jerry. We'll say 73 to you, and I hope you get to feeling better soon. I know how that is. Like I said, I'm getting over that thing myself, so a few days and you'll be up and back to normal, hopefully. We're going to say 73, and that's going to bring me over to John, WO3X. Take it away.
Good evening, Dustin, and all on the net. This is John, WO3X. Let's see. The trivia question. Let's see here. I'm also going to go with D Delta. Like Nick said, I think aluminum was more valuable back then than it is now. Let's see. So talking about Winter Field Day on Saturday, I intended to work at least 6 hours at it to get the 6-hour operational bonus, and I was able to continuously operate for 7.5 hours. So I made that, and then let's see. But I did have a problem on 20 meters. This is the first year that I used this Evolve 3 computer for logging, and for some reason on 20 meters, I guess there was some kind of RF on the wires or whatever. It would goof up on 20 meters. So I only made one contact on 20 meters on Saturday. So then Sunday I went back for a couple more hours, and all I operated on was 20 meters. And let's see, what did I do to fix the problem? Okay. I didn't run the Evolve 3 on. It runs on 12 volts DC. So on Saturday I was using this 3 to 12 volt adapter, and plugged into the cigarette lighter socket, and so I didn't use that. I just ran the computer on its battery, and so apparently it was some kind of ground problem, RF getting on there. So the computer ran okay then. So I successfully made enough contacts on 20 meters to exceed my total count for this year to have my count exceed last year's count by 1 QSO. So it was a successful operation. So with that, back to the net, W8WKY, this is WO3X.
All right there, John. Well, I'm glad you had yourself a successful winter field day. We didn't participate this year, but maybe next year there. So we'll say 73. Have a great evening, and we'll catch you down the log. And that's going to bring me to the land of snow and maple syrup. AB8MO. Andy, how are you, my friend?
All right. Well, as soon as you, my call site just popped up on line 22. I was on this entire net, and as soon as you called me, it finally popped up. But I was going to ask you, what are you doing? Write my call site in invisible ink, but it's not invisible anymore, so I guess I can't fault you for that one. Good evening to everybody on the net. I'm not usually around on Tuesday. Well, being it's the 5th Tuesday of the month, I actually don't have anything planned on the... wait a minute, is it the 5th Tuesday? No, it's only the 4th Tuesday. I don't know why we aren't... Oh! The thing that I had was canceled. That's what it is. The thing I normally do on the 4th Tuesday was canceled. That's why I'm here. But I would be here on the 5th Tuesday if there was one. But I just looked at the calendar. There is not a 5th Tuesday this month. There is a 5th Wednesday. That's tomorrow. And then a 5th Thursday and then a 5th Friday. Did winter field day. That was a lot of fun. I actually operated a radio, which is unusual for me. I did pretty good. I was on 20 meters. I had a good run. I saw there was a guy running 40 phone, and I was running 20 phone. And between the two of us, I saw the contact count peak at 138 in the hour. I don't think we ever quite got that high again. I know that the Warren Amateur Radio Association, we finished with just a little over 1,000 contacts. We packed it up. From what I'm told, at about 3 in the morning, because they were having trouble finding people working winter field day. Not quite the event that summer field day is, so the contact count got awfully lean in the wee hours of the morning, so they just pulled the plug. But they still put in like 15 hours, so I think we got our 6-hour bonus and a couple others, so it was good. And I joined the operations committee that Josh HRF is heading up, and I saw Josh, and one of the first things we agreed on is that we're not going to plan anything east of Akron. I said, just do not go geographically east of Akron because nobody's going to come. And he was like, yeah, that's probably true. So we've got that established. So better things await next year for the operations committee. Let me drop it a second, and I'll give an answer. You know, just Nick, with his profound wisdom, I think that's very good reasoning. So I'm going to go along with that bandwagon, whatever one that was, that aluminum was more valuable back in the day, and that's why they used it. So that's how I got from here. You sound marvelous, Dustin. You must have kicked the crud. I rang in the new year with that, so I can empathize. I know what you're feeling. I know what you're going through, because I've been there not too long ago. Back to net, this is AB8MO.
All right there, Andy. I just about picked up my phone to try to talk to you, so there you go. We're still kind of in a daze, and we're still getting over the crud, but hey, at least I can talk and function today, so there you go. We'll say 73, have a great evening, and we'll catch you there on down the log. And that's going to bring me over to Mr. Ray, K5CFY. How you doing, Ray?
W8WKY, this is K5CFY, and good evening there, Mr. Dustin. Thanks for doing the net there, and wave a hand at your net logger there, doing a great job there as well. And Eric with a great trivia question. I'm going to go with Delta and using my scientific guesstimation. So my answer is Delta. Thanks again, everybody, and I'll jump off of here and give it back to you. K5CFY.
All right there, Ray. Well, wonderful to hear you, and thanks again for covering for me tomorrow. I really appreciate it, and it's always great to hear you. We got you down, and you give old Fred a scratch on the ears for us. We're going to say 73U for now, and that's going to bring me over to Florida. We're going to talk to WB4AIZ. Chuck, how are you?
WB4AIZ, okay. Doing okay. We hit in the 70s today. Right now it's about 60. And I think it looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty good for Orlando. But I'm not going. With anyways, the good thing I'm not going. I've got my eyes on a handheld, but I gotta be careful. Anyways, one of the new kid radios. So let's see. So there's not a whole lot going on. Hard to believe I'm actually communicating instead of being in and out like Sundays and Wednesdays. Anyways, everybody have a great night and get well soon and to all the employees. Anyways, everybody take care. WB4AIZ.
All right there, Chuck. Well, great to hear you out there. And boy, that warm weather sounds nice. You can send some of that our way anytime. But it's great to hear you and great to have you actually stick around and check in and say a few words. That's a rarity on the Beacon net, but nice to have you here on the Sarah Club net. We're going to say 73 to you, and that's going to bring me on over to Uncle Fred, QFT. What's going on over on the north end of town?
Hello, Dustin. Hello, everybody out there. Oh, not much going on. The weather's calm. Feels a little better than it's felt lately. I got in here late because I had to go to the hospital. I had to take one of my friends, one of my neighbors and friend, phone chargers in the emergency room. As fender bender. Keep her overnight for observation. I also joined a new bowling league called the Lousy Bowlers. It's called Lousy Bowlers, so I joined it. I figured I fit right in. I hear a little joke. I needed something to do, so I took up bowling, and turns out it was like right up my alley. Get it right up my alley. KE8QFT. Back to net control. I missed the trivia, by the way, but I'm going to say C for Charlie. KE8QFT. Back to net control.
W8WKY.
All right there, Uncle Fred. We got you down for Charlie, and I'll tell you what. I happen to know that you're not a lousy bowler. I know you can out-bowl me, and you're pretty good. So don't let it fool you. Yeah, so we'll say 73 to you for now. Have a great evening, and we'll catch you down the log real soon. Let's go down here now to KD8 FTR. Robert, how you doing?
This is KD8 FTR. Yeah, I just want to check, make sure I got audio here.
Hey, you sound just fine. Go ahead.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I missed the trivia question. I was actually on the Ohio Digital Emergency Net. Yeah, currently, I'm 10 miles away from it, running through my computer and then going out my radio at my parents' house. So I'll be putting together a little bit of information on what I set up. I've had a couple people interested in what I was working on, and seem to have it working on both VHF and UHF and the HF rig. So put something together, and if anybody's interested, I'll be happy to send them what my setup is. And we'll go ahead and just turn it back to net and finish listening here. This is KD8 FTR.
All right, well, that's very interesting stuff there. Sounds like it's working really good. And you know what? Did you want us to reread you the trivia question? It's been a while, and it's about that time anyway.
KD8 FTR. Yeah, go ahead, read it out, and I'll give you an answer and then turn it back.
W8WKY repeater PL114.8.
All right, a word from our sponsor. Let's go up here to W8ELM. Eric, would you mind rereading this trivia, please?
It will be my pleasure. This is W8ELM. Upon completion of the Washington Monument in 1884, an 8.9-inch tall pyramid of solid aluminum was placed on the capstone, where it remains to this day. The question is, aluminum metal was chosen A, alpha, to dissipate static charges, B, bravo, to prevent chemical deterioration of the capstone, C, Charlie, for its corrosion resistance, D, delta, for its intrinsic monetary value, or E, echo, for none of the above reasons. Those choices again: A, to dissipate static charges, B, to prevent chemical deterioration of the capstone, C, for its corrosion resistance, D, for its intrinsic monetary value, or E, for none of the above reasons. Back to net, and you're doing a wonderful job. You always do, but got such a great signal tonight, Dustin. W8ELM.
All right, well, thanks so much for that, Eric. I really do appreciate it. I got some recent new coax, and it makes things a lot less popcorny. Thanks for doing the trivia. We really appreciate it. It's a good one. And you know what? Count me down for Echo, because that just sounds good to me. Let's go back to Robert, though. KD8 FTR. Take it away.
This is KD8 FTR. I actually read something fairly recently. So I believe around that time, aluminum was still considered very rare and very valuable. So my answer is delta, for its intrinsic monetary value. And we'll turn it back to net, KD8 FTR.
All right there, Robert. Well, thanks for joining us there, and we look forward to catching you on down the log real soon. This is W8WKY. Next on the list here is KC8FQV. Mark, how you doing? All right, I think he said he was at a meeting, so we're just going to check him in and out for now, and that brings me to the bottom of the list as it stands. This is W8WKY with the Sarah Club Net. I'm looking for some more check-ins. Please call now.
Henry in Brimfield.
Alpha 8, Charlie, Tango, Craig, and Shreve.
All right, I picked up a couple there. Henry, I'm going to need your call. I just heard Henry, so I'll come back for that. And then I got AA8CT, Craig. So, Henry, would you key for a second or two and give me your call because it got totally cut off?
KE8YPY.
All right, you know, I had it at the tip of the tongue, but it wasn't quite coming to me, so thanks for coming back to me with... You're up, Henry. Take it away. YPY, go ahead. All right, nothing heard. AC8 or AA8CT, Craig, how you doing?
Good evening, Dustin. W8WKY. I so appreciate you doing this. It's so nice. And I got to compliment Eric. Another outstanding trivia question, Eric. I told him at the Winterfest that I loved this one the other day with the Sesame Street characters, and I think this one equals to or is possibly greater than. So with that, I will give you my trivia answer, which is a wild guess, but I'm going to go with D Delta. And I heard my older brother there earlier on that AACS, but you know, what can I say? With that, I'm going to turn it back to you and keep things moving. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful evening, and I will be listening on the side. AA8CT, back to net control. Thank you, Dustin.
All right there, Craig. Thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it there. And, boy, we all almost got the call sign twisted up tonight, didn't we? Let's say 73 to you, and we're going to go back up here and try Mark one more time. KC8FQV, take it away.
All right, Dustin, KC8FQV, the Lear meeting. I'm going to say it was dealing with lightning. The Illumina was for dealing with lightning, and I didn't hear all the questions. I heard the question. I didn't hear all the choices. But I would say lightning, something to do with the static. If there's nothing but lightning, and then I would say static. So KC8FQV.
All right there, Mark. Well, 73 to you, and enjoy your meeting there. Let's try Henry one more time there. KEYPY. If you're still there, go ahead.
This is KE8YPY. I don't know if I made it in the last time. I'm on a different radio now. But my current project has been constructing a crystal radio out of bits and pieces I found out of stuff I've taken apart. And I'm currently trying to make my own variable capacitor, and I think it's going to work. But it's been kind of fun, and I'm getting a buzz in the Pizio thing, so it might just work. But I'll turn this over to the net. 73, this is KE8YPY.
All right there, Henry. Well, good luck with your projects. It sounds like you got some really good ones going there, and we look forward to catching you. I'm not sure I didn't hear you before, but I do hear you now. So glad to hear you, and I hope you get it figured out there, and we'll look forward to catching you on down the log. All right, this is W8WKY with the Sarah Club Net. We're looking for some check-ins. Please call now.
7 IRJ, all in Nashville.
Kilo Echo 8, Echo Hotel Golf, KE8, EHG, Mike in Navarre.
All right, we picked up KG7IRJ Paul, and we picked up KE8 EHG Mike. Let's start with Paul, KG7IRJ. Good evening.
Good evening, Justin. KG7 IRJ. Yeah, well, we did a little winter field day at our new clubhouse at St. Paul's Church in Nashville. Mostly played 20 meters. But, and on the trivia, I'll take Charlie. Working for me. Have a good one, guys. That's what club night is this Friday. Anybody's interested. KG7 IRJ.
All right, KG7IRJ Paul, we got you down for answer C there. Great to hear you. We'll say 73 and catch you on down the log. That's going to bring me down to KE8 EHG. Mike, how you doing?
Good evening, Jerry. Good evening, everyone on the net. Doing fine. Doing good. Doing better than last week. Last week I had the crud. Eesh. So, I'm glad to see the sunshine a little bit today and the snow melting and that kind of stuff. And I went through Menards and I saw they have picnic tables out and umbrellas and bring it. I heard something about baseball and I'm like, bring it. I'm tired of winter. I heard the question, I heard the answers. I'm going to try D, Delta. Let's try that and see what happens. So, great job doing the net, and maybe I'll catch your meeting next month. So, all right, 7:30. I'll be waiting for the answer. KE8, EHG, back to net.
All right there, Mike. We'll say 73T, and I'm ready for spring also. I'll tell you what, I'm ready for it to be nice. I saw that the trucks are headed down to spring training, so it's only a matter of time before pitchers have to report. Then it's time to have fun again. So 73T will catch you there down the log. We're going to make one more call for check-ins before we go up and catch our trivia answers. So this is W8WKY. I'm looking for check-ins. Please call now.
W3X recheck.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I put a question in the AIM window there. I was wondering what the answers were for last week. I had to go on to another net before I heard the answers. I put B, C, D, A.
I'll tell you, I missed last week's net, but a little birdie told me it might have been Echo, so there you go. But I don't know, I'm sure if you stick around after the net, our Master of Trivia might be able to give you that answer, so there you go. But John, do you have anything else for us this evening?
Well, what that was, there were four answers. It was a that's why I have BCDA, binary coded decimal analog.
I copy that. Like I said, I missed last week's net, so I wasn't there. But John, thanks again for joining us there. We'll say 73T and have yourself a great evening. Let's go up to Eric now, W8ELM. What do you know, Eric?
WAWKY from WADLM. John, you had the correct answer, and in addition, you were the only one that had the correct answer. So congratulations on that. Now, for today's trivia, the correct answer is D, for its intrinsic monetary value. I think we had 9 correct answers there out of about 20, so that's doing real well. Aluminum metal was chosen for its value because in 1884, aluminum was about twice as valuable as silver. Not quite up there with gold, but it was a very valuable metal. It's the third most abundant element in the Earth's crust. However, it's very difficult, or was at that time very difficult, to extract it from the ore. That's why it was considered a precious metal. 2 years later, in 1886, Charles Martin Hall, a recent graduate of Oberlin College here in Ohio, developed a process of dissolving the ore in cryolite and passing electricity through the solution. Hall ultimately amassed a fortune of $27 million. Now, that was back in the 1800s, maybe early 1900s, so you can imagine what that would be like today. So, let's see, the number 2 element in the Earth's crust is iron, and the number 3 is oxygen. As I recall, Charles Martin Hall was in chemistry class, and his professor mentioned that if somebody could find a way, I better get some time. His professor mentioned if somebody could find a way to extract that aluminum, they could probably be very well off. So that's exactly what he did after he graduated. Thanks again, Dustin. This is WADLM back to... Oh, I didn't mention. I'll give the names here. Nick started off, KD8SLG, AA8CS, Gary, KE8VOX, Scott, WO3X, John, AB8MO, Andy, K5CFY, Ray, KD8FTR, Robert, AA8CT, that would be Craig, Gary's younger brother, and KE8EHG Mike. Now back to Ned from WADLM.
All right there, Eric. Well, thanks for another wonderful trivia question. We appreciate all of your trivia questions there. They're usually pretty good, or well, always pretty good. We really appreciate that. So we'll say 73 to you. Thanks again, and have yourself a great rest of the evening. This is W8WKY with the Sarah Club Net. This is the last call for check-ins. Please call now. All right, nothing else heard. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for checking in with us this evening. Come and join us for the next Sarah Club Net. That's next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time here, and we're going to shut the net down with 31 check-ins at 8:58 p.m. This is W8WKY. I'm returning the repeater for normal amateur use this time, and I will be clear. 73, y'all.
W8WKY.
KE8QFT, this is KD8EPC. Is still out there, Uncle Fred?
8080PC, AB8MO. Hey, Andy, what's up? Well, good evening. Glad you're here. I'm feeling a whole lot better. I wonder, did you get the same thing that Morgan had when, I know she was under the weather when I saw her last Thursday, and that was awfully nice of her to come to eat with us anyway. I wouldn't have blamed her if she would have stayed home, but I guess she wanted to get out and exercise, so I think that was kind of the motivator. But is she feeling better too?
Yeah. I got sick Friday night about the time she got to feeling better, so I've been down for the count since. I went to work this morning. I was there for like an hour and a half, and my boss was like, "You need to go home. We don't need you passing what you got to everybody else." And he's like, "And you just look miserable over here leaning in the corner anyways."
Yeah, not to mention it wouldn't be a good impression on the customers. Here's your pizza. I could just imagine that they're giving you this disgusting look. So, all right, well, I know. I've been there too. I go to work and I'm like, I can't do this. I got to go back home. So I'm glad you're on the mend there, my friend, and I'm glad Morgan's on the mend too. Yeah, we ought to do. I wouldn't mind doing viewers again. That was pretty good. I enjoyed that. Food was pretty good. I thought. Now I know where to find the place. It's a little bit easier to find. Remember when I was walking into that store, I was all over the place trying to find where this restaurant was. But I eventually found it. So yeah, we could. I wouldn't mind doing that again sometime. Is that the only Bueller's that has a restaurant, or are there others? I don't know that there's one that's any closer. I don't even know where there is a Bueller's besides Wadsworth. Is that a chain? I think you said it was a chain, right?
There's several of those Bueller's restaurants. There is one closer to me. There's one right out at 18 and 71, and personally, I think it's a little better. That one wasn't bad. The food was good, but I just think the one that we go to all the time is better. Plus, they got the salad bar there, man, and some days I like to just have the soup and salad bar, and they got a whole lot of options too. So I mean, you get filled up from that alone.
Yeah, I don't know if their salad bar was closed for renovation, or I don't know. It wasn't there, that's for sure. So I think it's about the same time-wise for me to get to 18 and 71 as it does to take to get to Wadsworth. So it's kind of the same difference for me, and bet you the one at 18 and 71 is a little closer for you.
Oh yeah, I can usually get to that one in 12 or 13 minutes. The one I met you at, it's not that much further, honestly. It only took me 19 minutes to get there. But that was when I picked up Morgan. Her house is several miles, or not several miles, but probably a mile and a half closer than mine. We shot right up 57 to Reimer Road to Great Oaks. Shot right up through the back way. Avoided all the traffic.
You know, it's not a bad way to go. I went that way up to 271, I think. I forget why I was in Wadsworth, or I had to get off at 57, and I said, well, what the heck? I could just shoot up 57, just hop on 271, and it wasn't that bad. You know, once you get out of Wadsworth, there's really nothing. I mean, I guess you go through I don't know if there was a traffic circle, but that was about it. And I was able to hop on 271 north, and, you know, other than the fact that, it's 55 versus... Well, I mean, going up 21, the speed limit's only 60. And there's a whole lot more traffic on 21 than there was at 57 at, I don't know when I went, 9, 10 o'clock at night. And I imagine middle of the afternoon's probably about the same, not much traffic.
Yeah, I would think so. I'm not really sure. I don't go out that way very, very much during the middle of the day. I only really usually go to Wadsworth when I'm taking care of Ed's groceries. Every other Saturday I'm in Wadsworth, and then I got to go back, like you said, in the end of February. I've got an eye doctor's appointment there on the right date. So there's that. But yeah, Wadsworth's not too bad. Usually I take the back way in and out whenever I can, because the worst spot is right there, when right by the highway is the worst spot in the entire town to drive through.
And I'm thinking, if I looked at the map, I'm thinking in 94, not 57. 94 I just took straight up. I don't know where I got 57 on the brain. I don't even think 57 connects to 271. Come to look at it. I don't know. Anyway, well, very good there. Well, that'd be great. I think it'll, if you're having trouble driving at night, I think it'll definitely help, because like I think I told you, that's when I realized I needed glasses. I thought I need to get my eyes checked, because it's awfully hard to see at night, and for me it was just the lights were scattering. Headlights, the headlight beams are scattering everywhere. So having things in focus definitely helped. So anyway, I'll cut you loose here. I know you've had your keister crammed in that chair for the last hour, so I'm sure you want to get going there. But great talk with you, and yeah, let's get together again here and grab another bite to eat sometime in the not so distant future. I'll listen out. I'm glad I was available. Normally not available on the 4th Tuesday, but it worked out. So I was glad I was able to get in on your time running the club net. I'll listen out. Have yourself a good one there, Dustin. KD8EPC. This is APGateMO.
All right there, Andy. Well, so good to hear you, and I was glad you could check in with me tonight. Yeah, I only usually do the club net once every other month, but I've done it twice this month already, so there you go. But we'll say 73, my teeth are floating, and I got to run down the hall here, so we'll talk to you there. Definitely get lunch here sooner than later. This is KD8EPC. I'm going to be clear, 73.
This is KE8YPY listening.
What are you listening to, Henry? KE8YPY, APGateMO.
Nothing at the moment. I just listened to the entire net, basically. But my crystal radio is not working good. I don't know. Do you have any experience with these things?
W8WKY.
Well, not really. That's kind of cool that you built one out of a bunch of parts. The best I can say that I've used was one of those jobs that they used at Radio Shack. I don't know if you ever remember Radio Shack. It's been out of business for several years, but they had a AM radio kit that I built out of a bunch of wires, and it had I think it had a crystal detector, and then it had a couple variable capacitors for tuning, and it came with a little earpiece, and it worked. It didn't work well. I think I was able to get 1100 and AM 570 out of Youngstown, which are the two strongest signals here. I couldn't get much else, so it worked. not very well. So that's my only experience with the little type of radio that you got. That's fascinating that you got it working there, Henry. It actually works? It's just not working well, right? Or is it not functional?
Well, the thing is, a few days ago, I thought it worked. Like, I thought I heard like talking or something. But now I'm kind of doubting if I heard anything at all because I only listened to it for maybe a second. So I'm doing a lot of things differently from the design. I'm using my own variable capacitor. It's like a paper towel tube with aluminum foil around it, with another wider piece of paper around it with aluminum foil on that, and they're not touching. And it slides along the other one to vary the capacitance. And I found a ferrite coil inductor, and I measured it with my dad's LCR meter, and I punched the numbers into the formula, and on the range of the capacitor with that inductor, it gives me enough range for the AM broadcast band. The only thing I don't know about is I'm using a homemade earbud thing. It's like a little piezo element, and I'm using a Schottky diode instead of a germanium diode. I'm thinking that's where it's not. I'm thinking that's probably why it doesn't work. And my antenna is only probably about 15 feet long, maybe not even that. I don't know. I've been playing around with it over the last couple of days.
Well, okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, okay, I couldn't tell you what the fundamental difference between a germanium and a Schottky diode is. I think Schottky diodes are normally for power transfer and switching, but I mean, your basic function of a diode is to control the direction of current flow. So, anyway, I don't know, you could try a longer piece of wire. Maybe you're just not receiving anything. That's possible with only a 15-foot antenna. That's pretty short for AM broadcast. I don't know if you can find one offhand. I have one or two little AM loop antennas. They're just on pieces of wire, and then they're in a loop, and they're base loaded with an inductor, and those are pretty good on the AM broadcast band, and they're pretty small too. So you just might need a little bit better antenna. But imagine you're not going to get a whole lot of gain either. So if you were to hear something, it probably would be kind of faint too. Certainly would be a problem for me since I wear hearing aids. So I take the hearing aid out, I probably wouldn't have any hope of hearing anything. I think the kit that I built, my dad helped me build it. I think I was it was well before I became a ham. Was maybe 7 or 8 years old. It ran off of a 9-volt battery, so there was definitely an external power source of some kind to give me a little bit more amplification. So, I mean, what are you using? Are you using anything for a power source, I guess is the question.
This is KE8YPY. Well, I'm not. There's no balance. But on certain points on the capacitor, I can hear like a RF, it's kind of like a static noise, which makes me think I'm receiving something, which is kind of neat. But no, I've seen a lot of different variations of the crystal radio or foxhole radios, and some of them have like amplifiers, so you can use different things, and mine has got no batteries. I don't know, there's only a couple components I could play around with. I've got like two little capacitors and a resistor across the like speaker Pezio thing, earbud thing, and they recommend when you're making these for they recommend the germanium diode, which they don't make anymore, and there's fake ones on eBay, but they're actually silicon diodes. And I thought, because you want a very low, like, forward voltage drop.
Oh, yeah.
0.1 volts or 0.2 volts. And I measured this random Schottky diode I have, and it has a forward voltage drop of 0.2. So I thought, hey, it might work. And, yeah, so, I don't know, maybe a better antenna. My dad has his, like, HF antenna. That might work. Though I don't know, like, because he's got coax running to it, and it's got, like, one of those Bowen, I don't know, that might, I mean, it's still electrically connected, so it might be slightly better, and having a ground might help as well. This is KE8YPY. I'll send this over to AV8MO.
All right, very good there, Henry. Well, that's really fascinating. That's cool to hear. You're just kind of tinkering around with this kind of thing and learning all about it. That's a big part of ham radio that not many people explore anymore, because I guess there isn't as much as a need of building your own equipment, but that's kind of how hams used to do it. Back when things first got started, you had to build your own equipment. So that's kind of cool. Germanium that surprises me when you told me that they aren't manufactured anymore. At least 20 years ago, I could still find them, but yeah, silicone, your standard what they call rectifier diodes are 0.7 volts drop, which sounds like it's way too much for you. So that may be a reason for a germanium diode. It's got a much lower voltage drop across it. So, but whatever works, I guess. So, anyway, I'm gonna jump on out of here. I wanted to say hi to you real quick. I'm glad to hear you're on the air, and wherever you got your antenna pointed, it's working pretty good. You got a pretty good signal into the repeater. Not quite full quieting, but well above the noise, so no problem understanding you. So before I go, you plan on making it to the Cuyahoga Falls Ham Fest? I think that's sometime in, I'll have to look when. But I know that I saw you and your dad there last year, and was wondering if you plan on making the Ham Fest this year.
W8WKY.
Just letting the repeater drop there. Well, as for the antenna, I'm using my handheld and running 5 watts into my tape measure Yagi, and I think I'm pointing it in about the right direction. So my signal might vary a little bit as I hold it up. I think the date for that is like April 5th. Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't know. That is a little while from now. We might go again. Last time I remember there being lots of bits and pieces, which might help in my constructing of radios. But I'll let you go. And I was looking at this one kit. It's like $20 or $30, and it comes with all the bits and pieces you need for a crystal radio. I think it's on like electronics.com or something like that. and I tried to order it, and it said, like, due to road conditions, we cannot fulfill orders or something. I don't know. But I might buy that kit just to have, like, a known working one. I don't know. I'll let you go, and I'll see if maybe I'm going to the Hamfest too.
All right, Henry, sounds good. We'll catch you, yeah, you're right, it is April 5th. I just looked it up, Saturday, April 5th, from 8 to 1 p.m. So, yeah, I'll probably go. The Warren Club, we'll probably have a table there, and we'll be pasting lots of hand flush flyers everywhere. I'm sure at the Cuyahoga Falls Club and Cape did the same thing at ours, which is fine. I think it's all fair game. So, ours, I'm looking here, and they don't have a major prize selected yet. We already bought ours for our Hamfest, which is August 17th, 2025, at Trumbull County Fairgrounds, which is a little bit of just about an hour drive from you, maybe just a hair under an hour actually. And we're given our main prize as FT710 Field. So we got our major prize. We just a lot of the smaller prizes we don't have sourced yet, but we'll get there. We've got the venue booked and we've got the main prize purchased. So we're well underway. So that sounds like fun, and you know, it's sometimes easier, and you can learn some more things about, you know, what you could possibly do to get your DIY set working there if you have a good reference to go against. So, yeah, I've learned a lot from just building electronic kits. You know, it's a lot of fun, and definitely learn about the circuit and components and what they do and how they function. So I think that's a great avenue to go. I don't know why they wouldn't deliver due to snow. Better try that one again. So we'll see April 5th. Hopefully I'll talk with you beforehand. You have yourself a great night there, Henry. It was great talking with you. 73. This is AB8MO.
W8WKY. W8WKY, repeater PL1 14.8.